Thank you, Dave, for teeing me up nicely. So the power of open. And some of you saw part of this yesterday, so I want to talk about beds. Forget cars, beds, nice and straightforward. So here's a guest bedroom, and this is excess capacity. A person's kids grew up, they had an extra bedroom, so they have this bed, and some of us are lucky enough to make use of that excess capacity. I'm right now staying at Sue Zielinski's excess capacity. I thank her a lot. And that happened to work for me because I happen to be a friend of Sue's. But it's not a perfect situation. If I wanted to have a bed in San Francisco, Sue couldn't help me. So we have, therefore, hotels. And hotels are really bed sharing that's been privatized. And these hotels have, from a business model, they've said, here's an excess capacity individuals had that wasn't well distributed. The demand and supply didn't meet. So they've made their investments, and they've placed their bets by putting hotels around, and they expect each one of those beds to have full utilization or close to full utilization across the year. So they're taking beds as a resource and using it very efficiently, and they need to get a return on investment that supports that investment of theirs. And they might make good bets, and their hotel is really full, and they might make poor bets, or the economy goes south, and, tough, you suck it up. And I want to point out that Zipcar is very much like hotel sharing. We as individuals had cars that had a lot of excess capacity. We used them for 3 out of every 24 hours. And Zipcar said, we're going to take that excess capacity, pool it together, and make that asset well utilized and make supply and demand meet. And again, we had to place our bets. Where is it going to work? And those are the places that we would put cars. So I want to take you to another step. This is a website called Couchsurfing.com. Couchsurfing is about 10 years old, and in those 10 years, people in the world at large can put their own couches or guest bedrooms onto this website, and people can stay there. What's shocking and what's remarkable is that in 10 years, they have beds represented in 54,000 cities in 231 countries. I want us to think about that remarkableness. There is no private sector company that could have provided this. There's no private sector company that would be willing to place those beds in 54,000 cities across the world. But this is all driven by excess capacity. Those people didn't buy the bed, and they didn't build that bedroom special for these people, for visitors. So we see this excess capacity turned around, and we've enabled speed and scale at this unprecedented pace because of using excess capacity. And here's the piece I want to talk about, platforms. So Couchsurfing as a concept in some CEO's mind, I met the founder, he thought it up, he put together the software, and now in 10 years, how many people? So it's, more than 1 million people have signed up and done this. I want to say that for each of these examples, each of them is interesting to the persons participating. So Sue gets to see me, and I get to see Sue. It's working great for us. Those hotels, most of those hotels are turning a profit, and it works really well for them. Couchsurfing is another thing that's working well for people, and I'm trying to say these are not mutually exclusive. They each have their different attributes, and I'm particularly fascinated by the speed and scale of Couchsurfing. So let's look about that, at what it looked like as networks. So here is a kind of network diagram of what Sue Zielinski's bed. She's orange, and there's a bunch of us friends who get to stay in her house. And there's a green person over there who didn't happen to be near Sue's house or wants the house in San Francisco. Sue's her friend. Tough. So it doesn't work well for everyone. Here's what the hotel and Zipcar model looks like. The hotels are placing their orange hotels around. They're meeting some demand very well. I've kind of underdone this so you can see it. And then there's that poor green person who doesn't happen to be near a hotel or a Zipcar where they need a bed or a car, so it doesn't work for them. And this is what that network model looks like in the Web 2.0 end-user generated version. It's in a complete mess, willy-nilly. There's no rhyme or reason. It's very messy, and it happens very fast. So it's messier and faster and much lower barriers to entry and lower requirements for benefits. This is what I feel like all of this, the underlying beyond all of this is we need two things. We need to create a platform that people can engage in, and we have the participants who are interlocking with that platform. And sometimes we get caught up in just the applications, and sometimes we get caught up in the platforms, but it's really a synergistic thing that has to happen. And you can make a platform that is crummy and no one wants to use because it's not what they wanted, or it doesn't work well, and so you won't have it work, and you'll have this desire to participate, which I think we see in a lot of realms, and there's no outlet for participation. So the beauty happens when you create a platform that meets the needs of the participants in this fabulous way. And what I want to go further is let's talk about how this can happen in other arenas. So there's a lot of talk today about data, and to the same 3 stages I want to take you through. So here's a graduate student who's doing a great transportation project. So there he is counting traffic, and he's doing a great job at that intersection. And if you happen to be his project partner, great, you're getting his data. And if you're 4,000 miles away and interested in that piece of data, too bad for you. Here is another type of information. This is the MBTA bus route from my house to the BU Medical Center. And this is a institutionally generated piece of data that they've now put up on their website. Here it is. This is what it looks like. And again, it serves the needs of the MBTA and the people, that's the Boston Transit Authority, and to users who are going to the MBTA site. However, what if those MBTA opened up its data set, just as we think of the couch surfers were offered a platform that said, let's make use of excess capacity that's out there. And we have things like Google Transit that is in about 40 metro areas and is being adopted widely. The Google Transit, it's got a special data format that's becoming more of a standard. And unlike the MBTA site, which looked like this, here's what it is, Robin. Tough for you. I don't care where you live. I don't care what time of day it is. I don't care if you want to see a map. Google was able to come up with, okay, I did this. Here's A, my house. Here's B. You can see exactly what the route looks like. I could have chosen this by public transit, by walking, or by car, and I can see the exact times. The next one leaves at 6:03, and it's going to take 29 minutes. If I miss that next one, 6:13 is the one after that. The MBTA didn't have the internal capacity or didn't have the vision to do this, and by them opening up the data set, it enables lots of people to get at, and not just Google, but lots and lots of people. I think you have in many cities, many major areas. In Washington, D.C., there's Apps for Democracy. In San Francisco, I think it's called SF Apps. It's happening in New York City, and in Boston, I'm keynoting where it's happening there again. So this is a new idea. What happens if we open up these data sets? Here's a really nice example. In the United Kingdom, the UK government collected bicycle accident data. Of course, they're collecting bicycle accident data. When they made that data open, some